Welcome to our conversation on accelerating material discovery, leveraging AI and ML in science. Today, we'll explore how AI and machine learning are transforming material research from speeding up discovering and enabling self-driving labs. Expect insights, real-world examples, and maybe a little humor along the way. Joining me two incredible experts, Dr. Rohit Batra, Assistant Professor at IIT Madras, who is pioneering research in material informatics and autonomous labs. Affiliated to Data Science and Metallurgy Department in IIT Madras, he has been working in this field for the past 1 decade. He is holding a Samar Jayanti Paul Early Career Chair in the field of applied data science. Welcome you, Dr. Rohit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sai. Very happy to be here.
And I also have with us Dr. Gautam Rangan, a solution architect at Tech Mahindra, who brings up a deep expertise in AI-driven solutions for semiconductors and advanced manufacturing. Welcome, Gautam.
Thank you, Sai. Happy to be here.
And hi, I am Saikumar Balivada, Group Delivery Head at Tech Mahindra, and I'll be moderating this conversation. Let's get started. So, to start with you, Dr. Batra, we are excited to pick your brain today. Let's jump straight. Can you give us a quick overview of what material informatics is, and then why is it such a game changer in the current world?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so what we mean by materials informatics is that we try to combine machine learning or artificial intelligence methods with material science to design new materials which can be useful for future energy needs, for future sustainability needs, and so on. So in this, what we basically try is, can we use the past data, which is available maybe in the literature, maybe all the experiments that the humankind has done so far, can we use that data and build machine learning based or AI based models on it, so that we are very quickly are able to come up with new materials that are able to satisfy the future energy needs. So it is not just about coming up with new materials. There may be existing materials also, but then they may be very costly in terms of their design process or their processing conditions. So can we use this data-driven techniques to accelerate the entire process? And so that's the main aim. To make it a little bit more concrete, maybe I can give one example. What is the transformative nature, or what is the enormous capability of this technique? So very simple example is lithium-ion batteries. The first lithium-ion battery cell was actually made somewhere in mid 1970s, and for it to commercialize, it took almost 20 to 25 years. So roughly in about, I think 92 is when Sony came up with the first commercial lithium-ion battery cell. So this tells you the amount of effort, the optimization, the need that is there to go from a material in a lab to bring it to the market. And the whole idea behind this materials informatics is that can we bring down this 20 years of cycle of materials development to market in maybe less than 5 years, or yeah. So in short, that's what we try to do in materials informatics.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohit. Gautam, you want to add something?
Yes, two questions, Rohit. First is, I've heard a lot about this genome sequencing and, the way they churn a lot of these chemicals in the pharma industry to develop vaccines. Is it similar? Secondly, are you kind of, I've heard that in material science, there's a lot of experimentation being done. Can you talk about it? Are you minimizing this experimentation, or are you entirely simulating this experimentation to shorten the cycles?
Yeah. So yeah, very nice question, Gautam. So when I said that past data is available, the past data may not be just experimental data. It could actually be even simulation data, right? So the data in material science can come from an experiments, or it can even come from physics-based models, such as it could be from quantum mechanics, and then we have other physics-based models, molecular dynamics, and finite element methods, PDEs, and so on. So the data need not necessarily come from experiments. It can even come from simulations. But the idea remains the same. whatever be the amount of the type of data available, can we accelerate this entire process by either accelerating the experiments or even accelerating the simulations. The reason it becomes important is because there are several materials problems where simulations are easier to do, and they are integral part of the materials design process. And when we say simulations, it may appear that they are very like less time consuming. You just start your computer, you run some calculations on it, and very quickly it can do it. But it's not like that. Many of the simulations, like DFT based or quantum mechanics based simulations, may take months or several months of time as well. So, can you reduce that time effort from several months of a simulation to maybe just 1 or 2 days? And in there are several examples in the field wherein we are touching acceleration factors of the order of 10x to 100x speed up. And so you can imagine how this all helps in reducing again that 20 years time period to less than 5 years, 1 year, and so on. I think one
Right.
more question you asked related to the genome. Yes, it is similar in some sense, because there what we are interested in, can we find new molecules which so in there, it could be like, can I identify the part of my genes which are resulting in some diseases and so on? Can I identify some molecules which bind to certain parts of my genes, which helps in the drug response nature? Very similar to that. Yeah, however, instead of dealing with genes, we try to deal with materials. And rather than thinking of drug delivery and so on, we try to think of, do we have better alloys which can give us high temperature applications? Can I come up with energy efficient and sustainable materials and so on?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. So just to adding on this, just want to find out. Now we are talking about finding the material science. So how does AI will learn what makes a good material? Is it just about loading, as you mentioned, a lot of historic data and simulated data, or is anything more to it?
Yeah, so good point. Definitely, data is one of the key ingredient in the recipe, but data is not everything. We have to add some spices in it to make it more tasteful, to make it work actually. And the key taste in these methods come from what we call as fingerprint. So one important thing we have to remember is machine learning models or AI methods, they do not understand materials directly. Like if I tell you oxygen, nitrogen, oxide, ceramics, it may ring a bell, but to these machine learning methods, we cannot directly tell that this is lithium oxide, or we cannot directly tell this is an alloy. And so the other key ingredient that comes in is what we call as fingerprint or features, which is nothing but numerical representation of these materials into something that machine can understand. And personally, I really love this part of fingerprinting and feature design, because this is where the key mechanisms, or this is how the AI and ML methods are able to understand the physics and the chemistry of the problem. Fingerprint design is wherein the domain expertise is key. You need to know what is the mechanism behind the property that you are trying to learn, the mechanism behind the material you are trying to design. And that is where the fingerprint design, making it more physics informed, becomes heavily useful.
Excellent.
Yes.
Gautam, you have a question?
Yes. So, what is the most surprising material discovered using AI? And can you elaborate from your experience this whole, I mean, what you've seen and suggest something?
Yeah, so one very important thing I like to mention here is that this AI and ML methods are not just like a buzzword. There have been several success stories wherein materials have been designed based on these AI and machine learning methods. We can talk about, it's not just in one field. It is actually very general methodology, and there are very diverse fields it has actually contributed to. So whether you are in the area of ceramics, semiconductors, you are in polymers design, whatever it may be, there are several success stories. To give you some concrete examples, people have come up with polymers for better food packaging. So one of the major limitation is that the polymer films that are usually used in food packaging, these are non-recyclable. And the reason is that there is not just one film of polymers, you have multiple films of polymers. So when you try to recycle it, they are all together and they cannot be separated out, which makes it very difficult to recycle them. Individually, maybe yes, but together they can't. And so now people are coming up with new polymer materials, just single film, which has all the properties of thermal resistance, not allowing moisture to pass through, and so on, mechanical property. Similarly, a lot of work happening in CO2 capture. So how can you come up with new materials which are better at CO2 capture? Uh, Ionic liquids is one space in which people are working. MOFs, COFs, very popular. People have also used it for strategic applications. How can you come up with alloys, high entropy alloys for strategic applications so that they function at high temperature? Super hard ceramics. There are like plenty of examples from different fields. My personal favorite, also because I have worked on it, uh, but my personal favorite is basically we have designed peptides. We have come up with new peptide materials which form beta sheet secondary structures. And the reason they are interesting is because of their beta sheet formation, they can be stable and they can be used for several applications like like drug delivery, catalysis, and so on. The reason this is my favorite example is if you go about using your intuition or traditional design approach, these the sequences that we come up with and experimentally validated, we will not be able to do that. The reason this happened was because traditional approaches may be limited in certain because of less amount of data available. They may be limited because of the amount of experiment you can do. But in this case, because it relied on data, it recommended very unconventional, very non-intuitive, those sequences which will not be possible through a traditional design approach. And this is something that I really like about AI. Because you go through this data driven approach, many times it throws surprises at you. You would have it doesn't follow the intuition that scientists may have, and it actually produces materials which no one would have thought of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think when we hear a lot of news in the current world, right? People
Yeah.
are discovering about themselves more from these chat GPTs of the world than they would have known otherwise.
Yeah.
Just
Excellent.
want to take a thread out from one point you mentioned. You mentioned about surprises. Anything we should be cautious about in terms of like negative surprises, or do we have to be cautious in this whole AI thing? Can we go wrong? What are the things we should be cautious about?
Yeah. So yeah, again, good point. It is not that AI and ML will solve everything, right? We have to think of the problems in which they can be utilized. Um, and it comes down to, I mean, the other way I'll put it is that if AI and ML was so good at the job that the way I've been saying so far, then why don't I have uh, a material with me which can easily do hydrogen generation? Why don't I have a material that can help with the transfer of the hydrogen gases? Why don't I have a material which can do very easily CO2 capture, right? So we have to understand that bringing material to a commercial stage involves lot of different variables. Okay, so maybe I can say this thing again. So one thing we have to remember is that bringing a material to actual commercial stage may involve a lot of different design problems, And whenever we are saying, right, we are trying to use AML to accelerate this thing, we may be focusing on one or two of these variables to find out the materials. So the complete design process is very long. The first one is at the lab scale, then from the lab you want to go at the device scale, from the device you want to figure out the manufacturing, the logistics, and so on. And so the, what AI ML does is it tries to reduce or accelerate your process in each of these design stages, but still one has to follow the complete design space to bring material to the market. And so we have to remember that there are a lot of challenges in each of these different stages. And we should not just simply think that if I open my browser, ask ChatGPT, please tell me the next material for CO2 capture, it will give you the answer for that. Okay. Lot of logistic things still need to be figured out in between. But the point remains, all the logistic things that need to be figured out, it will help you accelerate this process in a more guided and a data-driven fashion.
Yeah, Gautam, do you have more? Shall I go ahead?
Yes, actually. Dr. Rohit Batra, I've also heard this name very frequently appear among material scientists, the self-driving labs and fully autonomous self-driving labs. Can you explain what this is and how it
Yeah.
functions?
Yeah, so self-driving lab, I think I have a lot of favorite topics. This is also among my favorite topics, self-driving labs. Uh, Basically, self-driving lab is intersection of three things. One is machine learning and AI, second is material science, and the third one is robotics. What I've been saying so far is the machine learning can help you guide what is the material that is good. Now, the remaining part is once the machine learning tells me that this material is good, please go and perform the experiment on it. What we can do is instead of telling students or researchers in the lab, we can actually tell the robot that this is a material, please go and do an experiment on it. The robot not only makes the material, it actually measures the properties also, and those properties that it has measured will be given as feedback to the machine learning method again. Once the ML gets the feedback, it will know whether the suggestion it gave was it good or bad. Uh, and it again, based on that feedback, it tries to tell you the next experiment. So now if you think the human is not anywhere in the loop, the model tells you go and do this experiment, this may be a good material. The robot does the experiment, it gives the feedback whether it was a good material or not, and then the model suggests the next experiment accordingly. So this is what we call as self-driving lab. And the whole idea is, the high level idea is, if I just tell that, okay, to this lab that I want a material which is high photovoltaic efficiency, as provided all the chemicals, the robot basically tries, mixes up things on itself. The model is guiding it how to do the mixing and so on. And then if you come after 4 or 5 days, the more you actually have a material in the lab which is high photovoltaic efficiency. Okay. So this may sound very futuristic, but honestly, there are already several self-driving labs that are functioning at a global scale. Berkeley lab, there is one very good lab in Liverpool, UK. So, I mean, these are like fantastic labs. um, what people are using it for, people are using it for all sort of things, like can I come up with better electrode materials for lithium ion batteries, can I do new chemical reactions and just make a database of if this is my reactant, what would be the products and so on. In fact, we actually here at IIT Madras, in my materials informatics lab, we also have a self-driving lab. We call it FilmBot. So essentially, this self-driving lab is used for coming up with thin films. These films are of the order of nanomaterials thin, and we are trying to come up with thin films which can be used for flexible electronics, optoelectronic applications, and so on. What this lab essentially does is it tries to finest processing conditions, what would be the different material solution country concentrations, so that the properties of the film are good from an optical perspective, from a mechanical perspective, from transmittance, and so on.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I think they're talking about the labs and also self-driven, right? Obviously, we all know. I really want to bring up this Makers Lab, which we do have in Tech Mahindra. Doctor, you must have heard about it. So we are proud to be part of India AI mission now, thanks to our
Mm.
Makers Lab. So they are developing sovereign AI, including a massive 1 trillion parameter LLMs, right? And a specialized 8 billion parametric model for education, focusing on Indic languages, which is quite
Mm.
responsible for AI to boost the Indian tech ecosystem. So it may not be self-driven, but it definitely helps self-learning broadly in India. So we are proud of that fact. So talking about it, Rohit, I just want to pick your experiences with, right? We companies like Tech Mahindra, where they are well entrenched with these LLMs, and we also closely work with a lot of our customers from the industry perspective. At the same time, like you exactly mentioned, a lot of new innovations, new ideas coming with these academia like IITs, right? So how do you see these two coming together? What kind of new things we can expect in future?
Yeah, so actually, there is a huge requirement of industry and academia collaboration in this space. Uh, and the reason is that whatever ideas that we come up here in our lab, these are more at the R&D scale, and all these ideas they need lot of resources to see what is their scaling up performance and so on. And that is where I think this partnership of industry and academia is very important. And that is where industry can play a huge role of scaling up all the just taking those ideas, scaling up, and seeing how they can be actually made into a commercial product. What we as faculty members, we don't have to worry so much is about what is the customers ask, right? Like we don't worry how the end product may look like. And that is where I think the role of industry comes in, bringing in resources, computational resources, manpower resources to scale up these ideas to make them into a commercial product.
Mhm. Very
Excellent.
interesting. Sai, I actually have a question for you, Sai. You
Please.
have more than 2 decades of industry experience, delivery experience. What Rohit was mentioning, the we have to scale up or something. What would be the, you have worked with a lot of clients or something. When we are trying to scale up, what do you see are some of the things, challenges we would be facing, and what do we need to do to adapt to these challenges as TechM? There's a very new and interesting emergent field, material informatics,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
scaling
Yeah,
up
yeah.
of it for our customers.
Great. So I think we are talking about material science, research, here, right? So obviously this is quite close to their heart for all the clients, and especially from the IP perspective, which they really do not want to collaborate more, but do it within themselves in an isolated, environments. Rightly so. There's a clear reason for it. However, it's a mindset change is happening. I could see. So gone are the days where one would know everything in the world and would do everything within themselves, right? It might possible, but again, like Professor mentioned, it might take few more decades to come up with something which they really wanted. However, I think there are a lot of flourishing, ideas even in the academies like IIT, including the Tech Mahindra, where we bring in a lot of this knowledge both from the industry perspective as well as the academic perspective. We can connect these dots. So our clients are actually, showing the interest in actually tapping into this space, right? So that they can also move faster in this. Of course, there'll always be a legal construct can be made to ensure that whatever the earlier concerns on IP can be protected. It's no more a concern anymore, right? There are many ways it can be done. And I do see earlier this it was a challenge, but now the days are changing, and they are actually coming forward, looking forward for such solutions.
Thank you, Sai. So what I see very interesting is that IIT Madras, institutions like IIT Madras, professors like Rohit Batra bring the primary research. We have the industry connect. We also have capabilities in AI. So I see a very interesting marriage happening here, and super additivity in the way we would work, super additivity in our resources or something, and that would be a very interesting collaboration going forward. These kind of collaborations.
This will be a new alloy which can make a material difference to the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rohit, so just for some fun thing over here, I'll just do some rapid fire questions quickly. You have to
Okay.
answer. Coffee or
Sure.
tea? Coffee or
I
tea?
am tea person.
Tea or beer?
Tea or beer. 10 years ago, some different answer would have come, but now tea.
Human or AI?
Yeah, this is tough one. I don't know. Yeah. I don't. I know it is rapid fire. I'm taking time in this one. See, the thing is,
Well,
I want to go with AI because it's my field and so on. But one thing we have to understand is that all the AIs that we are using, they are trained by humans.
humans.
So can I say human trained AI?
I
Human
like
trained
that.
AI.
Okay.
I thought you
That's
would
it.
say in office AI, but outside it's humans.
No, no. I mean, I think human trained AI. Actually, the one I think one very important statement someone else was making when we compare right human and AI, what we forget is AI is nothing but collective effort of all humans that has been summed up in a model. The data that we are also using, right, that has been created by humans, and all the architectures we are using have been created by humans. So one person said it very nicely that AI is collective human wisdom, and you cannot compare a collective human wisdom to one
One.
individual. So
Correct.
human trained AI.
Human trained. I like that. I like that. Favorite AI movie or science sci-fi movie?
Interstellar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's about it on the rapid fire.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's an easy one, Gautam. I thought you would ask more tough ones. Right. So far, I think we discussed the evolution of AI, what kind of role it's playing in material science, right? And of course, it's both the positive side of it and what more we can expect in future, and how these, academia and industry and the companies like TechM coming together to come up with the new solutions, right? This all sounds good, and the only thing it keeps coming to my mind, Doctor, if it is so easy or at least feasible, why I mean, are we saying that we probably will have everything and anything by next year? Is it that rapid? Or if not, then why? I mean, what is your view on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So not it's again like AI does not have all the solutions, and we have to understand there are always limitations of whatever model that we are talking about. And the primary reason we have such a thing is because this entire process of materials design is very complicated. It involves a lot of different minute steps. So if I take example of semiconductor industry, right? So they not only need to come up with first materials that should be there, what should be the etchants, what are the reactions that it should happen, what are the processing conditions involved at different stages. Uh, Once all of this is also done, they need to figure out what is the cost efficiency, the time efficiency, the scalability, and it is not easy to deal with so many variables together to even have a data set in which all these variables are available in one simple format. And so AI is always limited to what data it is exposed to, and because datas of this form are never available, and so it does not have even the thinking capability at that level. And that is where like grand challenges, it can only help in accelerating us to be there. It is always under, so what I use the term is human AI partnership, so wherein the human is there to know where to use AI and help. with this design process. Another thing I'll mention here is there are several other challenges that we feel the face in our field. Um, so, like I was talking about data sets, right? So, we don't have large amount of data sets available in this field, and AI ML only begins once you have some data sets available to you. Either the data sets are from past or they are generated on the fly. Like in self-driving life, the data set is generated on the fly. But at the end of the day, you can only use this method when some data sets are available. So obviously there is a dearth of data sets available in this materials informatics field. But more importantly, we don't even have a good metadata on how these data sets should be represented so that they become learnable. What is happening is that everyone has their own individual data sets in their own companies, like you were talking about, right? People find it difficult to share data across different companies because of IPs and so on. So just knowing how the data should be represented, can they be shared among different fields, these are also certain other challenges that make it very difficult to come up with the new material tomorrow. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, in fact, I was just checking yesterday, right? We are going to talk about this material science. So, what are the possible combinations potentially may have if you have to take the entire, elements, right? Then it's
Very
also
nice.
infinite. It
Yeah.
says because it's
So
not the different proportions and all that. Yeah.
yeah. So actually, there are some works which just talk about. Can you tell me how many materials are possible? Okay. So there are some estimates that the number is of the order of 10 raised to the power 100. Even a very like a lower bound estimate, if you were to make, that is also of the order of 10 raised to the power 100, which is already more than the number of atoms in the universe.
Oh,
Yes.
So
wow.
so we the design space that we have is just enormous.
Much.
Um, we use the word near infinite. We technically speaking, we cannot say infinite. We have to use the word near infinite, and so it's just huge, enormous, and yeah, that's what makes it more exciting, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So there's more. So AI is not everything. It's not going to just conclude everything by next year. I'm sure there are a lot to come in the future, centuries, right? Altogether.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Gautam, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm fine. I think it was a very interesting and engaging conversation. We learned a lot about this. I think I'm good.
I think one more important feature that is missing is how was your day? So accordingly,
Right.
you want to your
More,
own
right?
emotions. Yeah, how much
Yes.
your own emotions and yeah. So we need a domain expert into knowing Gautam's emotions to be able to have a good robot who can make excellent cuisines every day.
Is there a like a formal field of material informatics in the universities, or is it emerging? Do you see that?
Can you say that again? Like, what do you mean formal field?
Formal academic discipline itself of material informatics. Right now, you need
Yeah,
expertise
yeah.
in AI. So as TechM, we find dearth of people. The reason I'm asking this is when we are actually working, people are very good in material science, very good in AI, but that marriage, the mix is something we are finding a little difficult.
Yeah,
So
so
is
that
there
is
a way
true.
to build this?
Yeah, so that is true. Like this area is still in the stage of emergence. Um, like other way I say it is that in universities there is no department of materials informatics, right? So there are no degrees that is being given in this field. Usually, what you like you said, right? Usually, you will find people who are from data science. They are experts in AI ML, or you will find departments like material science and students who are expert in material science in knowledge. Um, Slowly there are new courses coming up which are on this topic. Like I have an elective course on machine learning for materials informatics, and I'm hopeful that in few I mean in another few years there will be more training and those sort workshops and conferences and so on, which will create a pipeline of manpower in this particular area. And obviously, there is a need uh, for uh, for such type of skill set, and I think in due time yeah, both industry and academia will make sure that we have a good pipeline of resources in this.
Sure. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Doctor. So I think this topic of material science, like I said, right, it can open up more infinite topics to discuss, or rather, like Professor has corrected, near to infinite things to discuss. It can go on, but maybe we'll connect again in one more session. But thank you so much, Professor, for your time and the insights you've given. I know there's a lot to learn on both sides. I would say industry has to bring in a lot of real world problems to the academics to resolve, and we also have to tap into a lot of ideas which are flourishing from these academic like IITs. But again, thank you so much, and again, thank you, Gautam, for adding your insights to for this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sai. Thank you, Professor. It was
yeah.
very interesting
Thanks a
and
lot.
engaging conversation.
Yeah,
You, bye
thanks
bye.
a lot, Sai and Gautam. Yeah, I had great fun, and yeah, I look forward to more such conversations. And we need to do a lot to bridge in the gap between industry and academia. We need to work together. So, such things, avenues, I think these are good steps in that direction.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.